Leaked third-party accessory discloses the design secrets of Samsung's future Galaxy Z Flip 7 and Z Fold 7. The company's new foldable phones are arriving in July, while third-party accessory sellers have undoubtedly received final design data. The Z Flip 7 and Z Fold 7 accessory leak gives information on critical design choices. The flip phone's cover screen will be receiving the greatest improvement in years. The Fold may undergo small tweaks to enhance the overall user experience. The third-party transparent case of the Z Flip 7 shows off the cover screen design. The panel occupies the whole top half of the gadget, where the outside display will be exhibited. On the other hand, the Fold 7's screen protector looks to be somewhat bigger and higher than the Fold 6's. It corresponds with the dimensions released in the past along with the CAD representations. The Z Flip 7 is believed to include a Moto Razr-like full-view cover screen. The display will contain back camera sensors within instead of presenting a folder icon-inspired design. The Z Fold 7 may be receiving a more functional cover screen with a width of 73 mm. The cover screen may climb to 6.5 inches, while the inside screen is projected to reach roughly 8.2 inches. Lately, I've been seeing more and more individuals with foldables in their hands, whether it's on the metro or anywhere, and not just die-hard computer geeks or showy yuppies. A large percentage of folks who are daring enough to embrace modernity are employing Galaxy Z Fold gadgets. I believe that trend to be very much relevant in the near future here in Europe. I expect the next Galaxy Z Fold 7 to be warmly accepted by the public. If I was stationed in the Far East, I'd definitely see a lot more non-Samsung foldables, but I'm not, therefore my eyes are now full of Samsung. Funny thing, in 99% of the situations, I find foldable owners utilizing their expensive devices via the outside screen instead of the enormous interior display. The cynic in me wants to advise those folks to unroll their exhibits and let the rest of us melt with jealousy and sadness at the spot. However, it's unlikely that if I had a foldable for a daily driver, I'd be using it in its unfolded position all the time. I genuinely enjoy foldables, and if I wasn't emphasizing mobile photography, because foldables are not currently equal or exceeding the cameras on standard slab phones, I'd definitely acquire one. If I had to get a foldable in the near future though, I wouldn't reach in my not that deep pocket for the Galaxy Z Fold 7. I'd spend my hard-earned money elsewhere. Yup, the Galaxy Z Fold 7 is turning up to be a terrific foldable. I'm not trashing it just because. Actually, I'm not trashing it at all. It just so happens that it doesn't float my boat. What do we know about the Galaxy Z Fold 7? The Galaxy Z Fold 7 is still months away, but leaks suggest a slimmer, sleeker design with slightly larger displays. One major point of speculation is S Pen support. Some reports indicate it may be removed, while others suggest the stylus could not only remain, but also receive a redesign. The device is also rumored to feature the top-shelf Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite chip. While there's still uncertainty about whether some regions will see a Samsung-made Exynos variant, the US should get the Snapdragon variant. Additionally, Samsung may improve the display by reducing the visibility of the crease, though the overall design is expected to remain largely unchanged. In terms of hardware, the camera setup could see a major upgrade, with rumors pointing to a 200 megapixels main sensor. However, battery and charging specifications appear to remain unchanged from the Galaxy Z Fold 6, with a 4,400 mAh capacity and 25-watt wired charging. Wireless charging is also expected to stay at 15 watt, with reverse charging at 4.5 watt. Considering the competition, battery life may be a disappointment to some. Thanks to its sturdy hinge, polished software, long updates, and satisfactory performance, the Galaxy Z Fold 6, Samsung's current foldable flagship, is the best overall foldable phone in our best foldable phones, our top picks for 2025 list. If the Z Fold 7 stays true to its predecessor, I assume it will make it to the top of the list once again. So why am I hesitating to embrace it as well? 11 years and a month ago, Top Gear aired an episode that provided yet another meme template for us to use, and I'm going to use it right now. Actually, it's two phones, not just one. The upcoming Vivo X Fold 4 is the first, since it's an upcoming device, just like the Galaxy Z Fold 7. Vivo's flagship foldable is about to bring an amazing battery. In fact, if rumors hold true, Its potential 6000 mAh capacity cell might be the largest in a foldable. Having 3 screens, or keep 2, but one is double in size, is not exactly easy for the battery, especially if you want to use the inner display a lot. That's a mini tablet, so it needs lots of milliamps. That's why I just wouldn't risk it with the Galaxy Z Fold 7 and its alleged 4400 mAh capacity battery. There is, however, a twist in the story. Samsung's upcoming foldable flagship might be powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite, which is claimed to be very power efficient. The Vivo X Fold 4, in contrast, is about to get the previous high-end silicon by Qualcomm, Snapdragon 8 Gen 3. But will the Elite chip be so efficient that it makes the 4400 mAh feel like the 6000 mAh on the Vivo? We'll check that, but I kind of doubt it. I suspect Vivo's battery to be one that supports fast charging, and that's another selling point for me. At this point, I can't imagine having to wait more than 30 to 35 minutes to charge a phone. Add to the mix the Vivo X Fold 4's potential 50-megapixel periscope camera, and the Galaxy is lagging behind in my book. Let's not forget the Oppo Find N5, a beast of a foldable that's insanely thin and sturdy at the same time. This is the OnePlus Open's spiritual successor, and some call it the Foldable King. So if I was looking for a foldable, I'd wait for the Vivo X Fold 4 unveiling, then compare some sample shots, and only then make a decision. There's nothing wrong with the Z Fold 7. Hey Samsung, don't prove me wrong. And if you want to stick with the familiar thing, that's perfectly fine. Experimenting with exotic brands is also perfectly fine. Plus, it's fun. Next, foldable phones have not been the instant success phone makers hoped for, but there is light at the end of the tunnel. Unfortunately, that light is not coming from the Z Flip 7 that we expect to arrive in July, but from Huawei. Yes, the same company we thought would just slowly wither into oblivion after all the sanctions, but that does not seem to be the case. The latest Huawei Pura X does not have the best name out there, but it sure has the best idea. Instead of unfolding into a weird 22:9 aspect ratio, Galaxy Flip, it opens into a much more practical slab with 16:10 size. And yes, that is the perfect size for watching videos with almost no black bars, so you are getting a much bigger viewing area. Considering that watching videos is basically everything people do online these days, okay, I might be exaggerating a bit. This makes a ton more sense. And honestly, the rest of this phone doesn't matter as long as it nudges flip phones into the right direction / aspect ratio. I would be fine with just this more practical size, but turns out such a design has one other advantage: battery life. The battery size on traditional flip phones is tiny because of these narrow dimensions, and with the wider format of the Pura X, you get a sweat nearly 20% increase in battery size. The Pura X has got a 4700 mAh battery compared to a 4000 mAh cell on the Z Flip 6. Not bad, right? Yes, we have had 7 generations of flip phones and Samsung still hasn't figured out how to put a telephoto camera. And this Pura X phone somehow has a triple camera sensor that includes a 3.5x telephoto camera. But so far so good, and that would have been the perfect package if 1. You could buy the phone outside of China. You can't. 2. It could run Android apps. It doesn't. 3. It had a reasonable price. It's more than $1,000 in China. Add some 20% on top of that for an eventual launch in the West. 4. It had a decent processor. It uses a Kirin chip, which are slower than modern ones. Is that a deal breaker? Well, of course it is. You cannot buy the phone unless you live in China. Some adventurous folks might think to look at Chinese phone resellers to get that Chinese version of the phone, but we advise against that as for most people. It's just too much hassle getting everything to work right. These days, I realize I really miss this pioneering spirit with new form factors and curious tweaks that make so much sense. Samsung, Google, and Apple seem to have fallen into a certain trap of their own success and a great deal of complexity, and they are giving us few reasons to get excited. At least that's how I feel. The Pura X reminds me of so many cool devices. It reminds me of the Microsoft Surface Duo, but it's actually made much better, it seems. We need this occasional jolt of excitement in the smartphone space, and I hope our familiar phone makers take notes, and please copy this design. Just don't bore us to death until you finally decide to take at least some risk. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more exciting tech news and updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.